So in today's video of directions, we're going back to our roots with a know before you go video. And then I'll also still add in a little bit of tech in there just for you tech enthusiasts. So a little thing called the World Cup is coming to Seattle. It's literally on my doorstep. I can literally see the stadium in which the World Cup is actually going to be hosted. So if you're not familiar with the World Cup, it's pretty much where a whole bunch of football or soccer teams will come over to a specific area, in this instance Seattle, and they pretty much duke it out. I personally am not a soccer or football person, but for those of you who are, hopefully this video is going to help you figure out some of the best places to visit while you are in Seattle. And so just because I know there are a lot of tourists here, a lot of the places that I'm listing on this video are going to be places that you could either do on your scooter, like the Lime scooter or like a Lime bike type situation, or maybe you want to go ahead and do an Uber, or if you're willing to, you could actually walk to all these places. So the first place that we're visiting here is going to be Pioneer Square. So Pioneer Square doesn't look like a lot during the daytime because it doesn't really have like any lights or any lighting fixtures on. However, at night, Pioneer Square turns on and all this place just seems a little bit more magical. This is literally 1, maybe 2 blocks away from the Lumen Field for where the FIFA Cup is going to be hosted. So if you are looking for a close place with nice restaurants, nice ambience, there is a little bit of a homeless problem here, but again, just keep your situational awareness up and then you will enjoy your time here in Pioneer Square. So if you want the max out of Pioneer Square, you should definitely come here at night. And if this particular area of Pioneer Square isn't exactly what you're looking for, just 1, maybe 2 blocks down towards the waterfront or further down a few more blocks into Seattle proper, then you will actually get to places like the Aquarium, a famous place called Pike Place, if you've heard of it, and other places. So let's go ahead and check those places out right now. Okay, so literally about 1 block from the Lumen station, you have the Seattle King Street station. And this is basically going to be the hub in wherever you want to travel. There is a train station here, there's an Amtrak like bus area downstairs, there's a whole bunch of taxis, there's rideshare areas, and it's literally going to be the vein of transportation for the Seattle area. The only transportation that this King station doesn't actually have is going to be 1 is the ferries, and 2, airplanes, because the Seattle Tacoma International Airport is about 15 minutes away from here down south. And then if you're going to do like the Washington State ferries, that is going to be closer to the waterfront, which is about 10 minutes walking or 5 minutes driving. So if you are here in Seattle and you're visiting because of the World Cup, you can go here to the King Station to do like Amtrak, buses, you could do other type of trains, trolleys, the list kind of goes on and on and on. So for those of you who are art people, Seattle actually has the Seattle Art Museum about 7 blocks away from the Lumen station. So if you are wanting to go to Seattle and do some art type things, I think every first Thursday of the month is a free admission. So you're able to go there, and then also you're just able to see some really cool art exhibits. So for those of you who are all about art, I respect that. Check out the Seattle Art Museum. Again, it is walkable, maybe more of a Lime scooter rental type situation, but it is not something that you need a rental car for. Okay, so you might be wondering, what the heck is this guy doing? He's talking in slow motion. Well, I forgot to actually turn off the slow-mo mode on the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 while I was vlogging this very clip. So this Derek here is talking about Pike Place. And so Pike Place is one of many open markets in the world, but I personally think that Seattle's Pike Place market is probably one of the most renowned ones. I mean, it's pretty iconic. So within Pike Place, you could find like restaurants and food and snacks. You can find vendors. Some of the vendors are regular static vendors. Some of the vendors are people that just kind of go in and out or seasonal. And then you'll also find different vendors on different days at different times. So if you do find a vendor that you really like, make sure you ask for like their Instagram or their social media account, or maybe like their business cards, so that way you can email them or call them and say, hey, I'm looking for XYZ merch or product. Also within Pike Place, you're going to find things like flower shops. I've been across the world and I feel like the Pike Place Market flower shop is top tier. There's just really good bouquets of flowers and different types of assortments that you could choose, and then they're all like dirt cheap also. Another thing that you're going to see in Pike Place, and again that's going to be with very situational hours, is going to be the famous fish toss. And so I did do a video on this with my Insta360 X4 back in the day. I'll link the video up here above slow-mo Derek, and here you're able to purchase salmon and or other type of seafood critters around the Pacific Northwest, and I would have to say that their fish, their crabs are definitely fresh. I can't express how good their salmon and their crabs are. Alright, so also within walking distance, you can actually go to Beecher's Cheese, which is right next to Pike Place, which is literally less than half a block away. But I know that the picture is a little bit blown out right here, but right here, I promise you, it says Beecher's Cheese. And I don't know what they do about the cheese, but someone who's lactose intolerant like myself, I will risk it so I can have some Beecher's cheese. So if you can, if you're visiting the FIFA World Cup in 2026, make sure you check this place out. You won't regret it. Alright, so something else that you can visit while you're here in Seattle is going to be the very first Seattle Starbucks, or the very first Starbucks in general. So again, right down the street from Pike Place, you can see the very first Starbucks right here. So there's nothing any special than a normal Starbucks, but it's just cool to go to their origin story. Alright, so within minutes of each other, you actually have the Seattle Aquarium and the Seattle Waterfront. There's quite a lot of things to do, and you have everything from carousels to 4D videos or 4D amusement parks. And then also you can see right behind me right here is one of the Seattle's newest waterfront kind of like park attractions. And then just right here, you can see the Seattle Great Wheel. This is one of the Seattle's like iconic things that you have to do. So this is all still walkable within the Seattle kind of area, wherever you're going to be within the Lumen Field. And then just right behind me, if you can see right here, and that's where you're going to find food. You're going to find an amazing seafood area, and then you're also going to find a carousel with an arcade, like an old school arcade. So I'll put all the links down in the description box down below. So again, if you are visiting from out of country or out of state, or maybe even out of city for the FIFA Cup 2026, check out the link down below, because this is actually a really fun place to live. Okay, so now for the tech portion of what I recommend that you use in order to document all of your adventures while you're in Seattle. Starting off with what I'm assuming most of us already have in our pockets, which is going to be a cell phone. So any of the modern day cell phones, probably from like 2019 and up towards like today, present time, is going to be a perfectly fine camera. Obviously, if you want the best phone camera performance, you're going to want to go with the medium to high tier Samsung or Apple or even Google Pixel phones. And so you obviously don't have to go with the highest tier of those phones, but if you want the best performance out of the camera that's in your pocket, which is most likely going to be going everywhere with you, then I recommend getting like a Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, or maybe the iPhone 16 or 17 Pro Max. However, if you do have a little bit of extra money to spend and you want to capture all of the environment at all the times without having to frame anything, then I recommend that you get something like this, which is going to be an Insta360 camera. And so this is the Insta360 X5, which is currently running for about $450 to $550 brand new, but there are older versions of the Insta360 X series cameras. And the reason why I recommend this camera is going to be because it literally has two lenses. It has a lens on front and then a lens on the back. And this is perfect because if you're just kind of like strolling down Pioneer Square, or maybe you want to do like the fish market in Pike Place, you literally just hold this up. Obviously you would have like some type of tripod or something like this, and then you just hold this up And you don't have to worry about framing the perfect shot because these two lenses or these two sensors are going to capture everything in a 360 space. Now, I do want to say that if you do decide to go with an Insta360 360 camera, then there is going to be some post-production video editing afterwards. But the 360 cameras, specifically the Insta360 X5, is great in low light, has great 8K and 5K performance, also very water resistant because obviously it's in Seattle. We're like the most rainiest state in the United States. And again, this is just a great overall pick if you are going to be wanting to capture everything all at once and not have to worry about framing. Now, if you are going to be more so on the, I would say, cinematic side of things, then I recommend picking up the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Now, there is a DJI Osmo Pocket 4, but in the United States, the DJI Osmo Pocket 4 is not being sold at local retailers. So you can't even purchase the DJI Osmo Pocket 4 on like Amazon or Best Buy or anything online. But the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, even the DJI Osmo Pocket 2 are still very worthy contenders. I recommend this one because of the fact that it has a built-in gimbal here. And so because of this built-in gimbal, you're going to be able to capture all of what you want to capture in a very, very smooth capacity. And then for the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, you get a touchscreen display, and it's going to allow you to just kind of capture everything without having to put too much effort into it. The DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is great for low light performance. It has a whole bunch of accessories to extend the battery life, but the thing that the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is going to struggle with, as well as the Insta360 X5, is going to be zoom quality. So if you're sitting in like the nosebleed section of the Lumen Field and you're trying to get like a really zoomed in shot of your favorite soccer or football player, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 and or the Insta360 X5 are not going to do good for that, because honestly the zoom capabilities of the two aforementioned cameras are not great. That's why I'm saying that your smartphone, your Samsung Galaxy, your iPhone, or maybe your Google Pixel, they probably have better zoom quality capabilities than the Osmo Pocket 3 and or the Insta360 X5. And so the next camera that I'm going to recommend that you're going to use is some type of action camera. You don't have to use the one that I'm showing right now, but just something along those lines. This is the GoPro Hero 11. And so this is an older GoPro camera, but it's still highly capable. It's water resistant, it has interchangeable batteries, you could change the lens up here, it does shoot in 4K, it has a whole bunch of smart features, and this, being about 5 or 6 years old now, is still highly capable. There are newer action cameras on the market in 2026 than this actual GoPro Hero 11. So one of the coolest things about the GoPro camera is the fact that it's so tiny, and you can find this pretty much anywhere any electronics is being sold. So action cameras and GoPros are a win, but you still have to worry about zoom quality. Again, if you're sitting in the nosebleed and you're trying to get like a super close in zoom shot of your favorite player, this GoPro or any action camera is not going to do very, very well. So now if you don't want to go out and spend hundreds of dollars on a DJI Osmo Pocket 3 or an Insta360 X5 or maybe even a GoPro, you can go the more economical route. Again, everyone probably has a smartphone in their pocket, and so that's why I keep on coming back to using your smartphone. And the accessory that you can pair with your smartphone is going to be a camera gimbal. And so this is the Insta360 Flow Pro 2, and this is essentially a gimbal. You would take your MagSafe phone or maybe your MagSafe case and you would attach it like that, and bing bang boom, there you go. So this device right here pretty much just made your smartphone camera a cinematic camera, because again, like I said, most of the more modern phones are going to look really good anyways, but pairing it with a gimbal like this is going to allow you to get that really smooth type shots. And then again, most phones have decent zoom quality, so whenever you do zoom in with your favorite player and you have the gimbal on, that zoomed footage that you're recording is going to be very, very smooth. So again, if you are going to be on the more economical side of things and you don't want to have to buy a new camera, I do recommend that you look at something like a actual smartphone gimbal. There are many other types of gimbals on the market. This is the Insta360 one that I use for B-roll with my Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, and it really helps me capture the footage that I want. Not specifically for sports, but a lot of the content and a lot of the B-roll that you see on this channel is actually going to be because of this pair of devices. Okay, so one last camera that I recommend that you bring to Seattle for the FIFA World Cup of 2026 is going to be a camera that serves as both a really good photography camera as well as a vlogging camera. And that's going to be an older camera, which you could typically find on Facebook Market for about $300 to $500. And that's going to be the Sony ZV-1 camera. And the Sony ZV-1 is a camera that I was just recording on. So right now I'm recording on my DJI Osmo Pocket 3, but if I flip the camera around here, you can see here that this is the actual Sony ZV-1 that I'm recording on. So this is a very, very capable camera. I don't think you could go wrong with it. But again, if you're looking for something that's going to be vlog worthy and it's going to have really good high camera quality, you can see the difference here. This right now is the Sony ZV-1. This right here is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, and both of them are just fantastic. So you can see right here, I'm vlogging, or I'm recording to the recording camera, if that makes any sense. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video. It was actually pretty fun to go back to my roots and actually do like a know before you go. For those of you who don't know about how I started this channel, I started this channel with the naming convention of know before you go for these types of videos, but then I eventually merged into a tech channel. So I'm hoping that I can fuse like kind of the know before you go content with the directions content. I hope this video helped you find some places to go visit while you're in Seattle. If you do see me around on the streets of Seattle doing YouTube recording, feel free to say hello to me. And last but not least, if you're visiting Seattle from outside of the state and or country, let me know where you're watching this video from, and then I will select a lucky subscriber to get a fancy pantsy Seattle sticker. I'll see you in the next one. One more thing, and that's going to be if you have one of these, a drone of some sort, it doesn't matter what the brand is, you're not going to be allowed to fly your drone in many places of Seattle. There's a lot of area vehicles, a lot of helicopters, a lot of water planes. There is an international airport just down the street from Seattle. And then you're also not allowed to be flying your drone over Lumen Stadium. So if you're going to be trying to capture the game with your drone, you're not going to be successful. They probably have a whole bunch of rules and regulations and frequency jammers that are going to prevent drones to fly over the stadium. So again, if you do have a drone, there are plenty of places around Seattle where you can fly the drone, but Lumen Field or the Lumen Stadium is a big no-no. I would recommend that you go to the FAA website and find out if there are any flight restrictions around Seattle and places that you may be interested in flying, so that way you can get your drone up in the air and capture some of those iconic scenic places within Seattle. But again, just be very cognizant of where you're trying to fly your drone.